And he said, oh, yeah, that Jerry thing, that works.
Well, the reason it's important to heal feelings is because what we don't pass back, we hand on to our children.
So I'm thinking that connecting to yourself is so important. I was thinking about our retreat, that we have how many families? Like totally 30-some people. Not a single eye is not wet, but it's like we all touched or being touched upon. And then after that retreat, that I remember Linda jumped up and said, let's book the facility again, let's come back in November, something like that. So when we are so touched with our feeling, we are so real and so true, and other people can feel that, and they are encouraged to become real and true too. And suddenly the group atmosphere just opened up. So that's kind of my feelings.
But the important thing is to be gentle with ourselves. Parenting is harder today than it has ever been in the history of the world. So now here we are telling you, okay, on top of getting them into good schools and blah, 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 you gotta feel your feelings. That's not what it's about. It's about loving ourselves, taking care of ourselves, so that we are modeling for our children what true self-care is, what truly being honest people, because we're never honest until we're emotionally honest.
I would just like to add in something that I learned recently. We talk about parents, people getting in touch with themselves and their feelings, and I'm totally on board with that. But what can happen sometimes is people are so anxious, parents, to make a change and be different, often different from their own parents, different from all those sort of things, that their kids don't get it, or their kids get it too much. I recently found out about somebody who was a long time ago in our school, in the very beginning, a very free mother, let all the kids do what they wanted to do, and they all seemed very happy. And I, not long ago, met up with her, the daughter of one of these parents, and she said, my mother was, you won't believe this, but my mother was a terrible mother. I said, what are you talking about? She was so lovely, da-da-da. She said, well, she let me go. She thought I should be independent. I went to the doctor by myself when I was 8. I had problems that she said, oh, well, we'll deal with this. And she said she didn't take them seriously. And sometimes I thought about it when you were talking about, the tough love and the all accepting. And sometimes children they take their parents pulling them in or saying something to them as caring. I remember one time my son didn't want to get up and go to high school, and I could, cheer him on and say, well, I'll drive you and all this, and we did that. And finally one day I said, I'm not going to do this anymore, you can decide if you go or not. He said, Mom, that's your job. And I understood where he was coming from. So there's that, there's that side of it too. You see people who just do a complete flip from their parents and it's drawing the wisdom from of the people that loved you and brought you up, and but as you say, looking inside and saying, what am I doing? I'm not doing it wrong. What can I take? I don't have to take it all or leave it all. I can have some of each. Colin?
Take what you like and leave the rest.
Right, exactly.
Freedom. So actually, it's interesting I hear that from Susan. Usually Susan is like, let your kids do. It's not in that kind. Right. Yeah. So actually, I do think that if you go look into the people, you happen to go this way. Actually, school is there, for whatever reason, historically, to measure kids, to kind of external measure, a lot of them, right? So there's alternative schools who try to break that down, and there are a lot of people being measured, right? But this inner capability to know yourself, it's just as important. So we are not here as parents to replace your schoolwork, right? So it's like, I was thinking, we're not here to make the mess to go to the next level. But we are here to be their parents to kind of watch more on the kind of happy internal motivation side, supportive side, rather than try to compete with Karen stuff. And so it's kind of interesting. I think I have to agree with you. It's complicated, not just one dimension.
It's also complicated because private schools have to be paid for, and they can often raise some money for scholarships. But I'd have a full school and no money if I just took everyone that was really, that I wanted, that I felt they could learn from the school, be the school. And I am so happy when I see changes in the structured schools. I'd like them to be a lot smaller, much more one-on-one with the teachers than they can have at the moment, and not a judgment of the teachers of, if you get good test results, you'll be able to have this extra money for some projects or something, which has happened quite a bit. But people, it's a privilege to go to a private school many times, and I swore when I was young I would never ever work in a private school. I was always going to work in, poor schools in inner city, and life changes you, and you realize that people, you're put where you need it, I believe, and so your life changes, and you do what you can with the people who are with you. But it's a factor. It's an absolute factor.
So actually, coming here, I want to really bring some examples, right, when I was talking with you guys. I want to go to Hui with one program she did in the summer. So it was a church retreat. So it's a spiritual kind of pursuing for 8 to 12-year-old. 12-year-old, talking about finding what you will believe in life. That's tough, right? So usually the church would say, memorize those several verses of Bible or whatever. So there are a lot of routine things, right? But this year, the past year, when we put those kids together, I was amazed. I was almost amazed to tears. It's like how she made the entire event of like two and a half day feel like everything is coming from the kids. At least the kids feel they came up with this conference, and the adult just helped, right, upon their. So I think that's very interesting. You want to summarize?
Yeah, so Sandra wanted me to share the how. Right? We were talking about a lot of the why, and then share a little bit about the how, like how I teach the children. So I was a teacher, and then I am also a Sunday school teacher. So I teach Sunday school every Sunday. So in the past, I think it was May. It was May. Ray. So we got these group of children who are age 8 to 12, and then normally most of the kids who come to the church, their parents believe in whatever they believe the church is, and then the children just come with their parents. But this group of children, they're special in a way that they just come here for fun. And then come here to social with their friends. They're not coming to study the Bible at all, literally. And their parents don't really come to the church, so they drop their children off at the church and then leave to go grocery shopping. And then you come back in 3 hours to pick these children up, right? So I was teaching this group of children, and it was difficult. It's difficult. So in situations like this, and then also when I parent my own children, also when I teach my students, I think of 3 questions. In terms of how I want to teach them. The first one is what my goal is. Like, what is my goal? All right, so with my own children, what is my goal? Do I want to send them to Columbia, or do I want them to have a happy and purposeful life? And then with these Sunday school children, I think the goal would be, to teach them Bible verses so they could know the Bible and memorize know Bible stories and memorize some verses. But is that really the goal, right? I'm like, no, my goal is to teach them why do we need to study the Bible or whatever your religion is, and why this is important and how to study this, right? So that, because I only have them for 3 hours a week. And they come and go. If they don't like me, they don't have to come next week. It's not like regular school where they have to come in every day, right? So if I teach them why we need to study this and how we can study this, and then they can go off and study on their own, and they have all these spare times that they can use to study the Bible or whatever you want to teach, right? So the Bible itself is really not my end goal. The process, the why and how do you do it is really my end goal. So this is the first thing I thought about. And then the second thing I think about is the role of the student. Do I see them as a blank paper? Because they came in, they knew nothing about the Bible. Or I think when you are parents, you will consider like how much your children know about math, or how much your children already know about reading and writing, right? If we see them this way, you see kind of they're like this water bottle, or you see an empty water bottle, or a half-empty water bottle. But like they actually come in with a lot of experience, right? All these children, even though they've never been to church before, or all of your kids, even though they don't have the math skill you want them to have yet, or the reading and writing skill that you want them to have yet, they come in with these experience in life. They know something. And they have really they have this rich culture among themselves, how they communicate with each other, what their life experiences are. And then they come in with this, how do I utilize these things that they already know? So like, do I see them as something empty, so I need to fill them with content knowledge? Or do they come in with their rich experience? All I have to do is connect their experience with what I'm trying to teach them. Right? And then the third thing is how I see myself, right? So a lot of time, especially, historically, teachers come